Hi, and welcome to Yoga for My Daughters. And Finnegan's here, and we have Hobbsy here. Taffy doesn't come around, but she's around. She might show up. And today's class is Yoga for Emilee. And Emilee's been doing a lot more running lately. She is a third year medical student and needs a 15 to 20-minute stretch class for after her run. And so that's what we're going to do. So thanks for asking for this, Emilee. And this is perfect because the day before yesterday, I completed a half marathon and I'm a little sore. So I can give a very realistic um, demonstration of these poses. So here we go. So let's begin with the intention, an intention for our body. And it would be that I love my body. I accept my body exactly as it is in this moment, at this age of my life, and with all that it can do and all that it can't do sometimes for me. Exactly this body. This body is my teacher, and I accept and welcome everything that it brings. And then also a gratitude for this body that it does things like run half marathons and yoga and horseback riding and even doing dishes and getting myself to work, right? So thank you for this body for all that it does to get me places. So the first thing you do after you run is you have gratitude for your body for getting you through that run. Yeah. The next thing you'll want to do, and we'll start with standing. Wish me luck. So we just want to, we're assuming you've cooled down a little bit, but we're just going to let our body really cool down. So we're taking some weight in each foot and just rocking a little bit and letting the body slow down. So you've been running, you've been moving forward. It's really interesting to think about balance and movement. So when I'm running, I have the inertia, I have this trajectory that I'm headed on that can keep me in balance. And in fact, when you're running, you're often just in the air or you're on one foot. And it's very easy to balance when you have that additional momentum of going forward. And so as we start to slow down, we then deactivate the big gross motor muscles that are moving us through the air. And we begin to really activate the balancing, support, and structure muscles. So we're just allowing here in this gentle movement for a transition, telling the body that the big dogs don't have to be doing so much of the work. And the muscles that have been helping us balance as we move through the air are really going to need to kind of activate as we transition to hopefully a lot of stretching and deactivating of all the muscles. All right. And then I want to take a few breaths. So nice slow ones, breathing in and then breathing out. And breathing in and out. Just really signaling to the body and out and in and out. Good. So at standing, I'm at first just going to take a temperature. Now you have been, I wasn't running. I just actually, it's morning time, so I just got up. So you will have been running, and that may have made you, depending on how far you went, and it might have made you stiff. And I'm already, I woke up in this beautiful state for demonstrating. So I'm just forward folding, softening the knees. And again, I'm taking that balance from side to side to a forward fold. I want to let my head hang really heavy and just swaying. I'm not forcing any muscles, and that's really important. I can invite, I can encourage maybe, but I just want to be with mostly. So I'm inviting and being with what's here, rocking back and forth. Good. I'm going to come up to make a transition, taking my right leg behind my left and then folding forward again. And here you might not go as far forward. And you can take a block to stabilize so you can really gently, with support, move into this stretch. Oh, that's so nice on the outside of the hip. And here, the same thing, I can soften and extend through the knees, softening through my neck, trying not to um, get into a reactive state. This can be, we want it to be uncomfortable in terms of stretching through the belly of muscles, but not painful, and no sharp pain at any joint. Hey, Vinny. Hey, Vin. Boop. Um, Stretching here. So the discomfort, I'm just going to breathe through, and I'm going to see if I can not have it activate me through my shoulders and my jaw. That I'm going to let it be in the hip. Soften the jaw, soften the shoulders, soften the mind, and keep the breath moving. The breath is going to help you keep it all soft. Good. I'm going to come up, press into my feet, come up, and then switch sides. Now I just want to make sure I'm balanced when I'm doing that. So I'm coming up to make sure that I'm balanced. All right, and here we go. I've switched the left foot behind the right leg. I'm bending my knees to get into the forward fold, where I can then play with bend and straight. I just get a sense of how my muscles are doing. Not too bad, I'd say. The pandemic, I hadn't really been able to schedule a half marathon when I'm here or when they're having them. So this was an exciting, kind of my second one since the pandemic. And then I'm breathing and I'm just gently moving. I'm here. This is good. I'm reminding myself that I don't need to tense my shoulders. I don't need to tense my jaw. I can soften my eyes and soften my breath, even though I'm feeling pretty intense stretches through my hips. Good. And then I'm going to center my weight on my feet, push, and come up. There. I think my necklace is on the microphone. All right, so another little time spent here, and then we'll get down on the floor and do some floor stretching. And this is just going to be like a short 20-minute video, so I have to remind myself that. So I'm coming down to the floor here. Good. And I'm just going to get my body a sense of being on the floor. Ah. So here's permission for my legs to rest and soften, and a little percussion, right? So a little bit of movement and getting the softening of the muscles happening. I'm needing to contract just a tiny bit here to get the up and down movement, but not bad. Yay. Okay, the palms of my hands are down on the floor. The heels of my hands are facing toward my body. I'm going to bend my right knee and then hop my right foot over the left knee, and then taking a gentle twist here, left hand up, left elbow, and then a twist. So this is pretty gentle. Some people like to take it all the way to the back, and it really depends on where you're at in terms of flexibility after the run, where your body is, how it's feeling. So I'm pressing my sit bones down. What I don't want to do is round through the back and then twist. So it's better not to twist at all if I'm not straightening the back. So sit bones down, low belly in, pelvic floor in, reach to the crown of the head, and then just work the twist from the sit bones through the low belly and then through the thoracic spine, really working to make one long move in front of the other. So way from the inside, not forcing it through the elbow or the outside in. It's building the twist from the inside out. And then maybe I look behind me. And then coming back, slow undoing. And then the other side. So here we can get a better sense. So I don't want to twist rounded. I want to twist from a really straight. So getting my sit bones, activating my legs, anchoring my left hand behind me, right elbow here. And then just working towards straightness. The twist is not as important as the straightness. Good. And we're looking at, right, the muscles that are connecting the legs to the core. twisting through the torso. And then taking a few breaths here, remembering to soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. Yeah, Hobbsy. And back to center. And then we can back to the percussion of the legs. Here, I'm going to take my legs. Whoa. This is where I'm feeling the most soreness in my quads. So I'm just giving myself a little percussion massage. Both of my quads. Whoa. So a forward fold. Now, the same principle goes here. I'm working not to round through the back. I want to stretch the legs. So especially if our hamstrings are tight, our body will have this tendency to want to round the spine as to not stretch through the hamstrings. So I'm taking my, here, can we see? Can you see? Doop, 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 doop. Taking my strap, and I'm giving myself a nice kind of loops to really have strength here. Biceps are pulling. I'm wrapping my shoulders on my back, heart to my toes, pelvic floor in, chest forward. And I don't care if I don't go that far. It just doesn't matter, right? So, of course, there's really lovely, beautiful pictures of people on social media, on the cover of things like Yoga Journal, where someone is completely folded over like a piece of paper, right? And that is beautiful. And I always wonder what that might feel like in a body. I may never know. My hamstrings are different. My hamstrings are like most people's, right? They're tight, especially runners. So I'm just going to be with the hamstrings that I have here and not worry about ideals or worry about different bodies and just breathing in. I can do a little rocking to really make sure my pelvis is slightly tipping forward. Ah, good. Then I'm going to release that. You want to hold that for 5 good breaths. It's enough time to, the first thing will happen when you go into a stretch is there will be a bunch of kind of protective reactions, almost like a tightening. So that's why, let me do again. So that's why your breath and the slow pace is really important. And then the 5 breaths, 6 breaths gives you enough time for your body to stop defending and just relax into the pose. So you'll notice at the 5th or 6th breath that you might be able to soften in a little more. All right, so we'll do a little more with the hamstrings, but I want to flip this over and get into the hip flexors. So we have the muscles get tight in the back of the body, and then the muscles get tight in the front body here. Both. I have both. So here we'll work into, I'm going to grab my block so I have a little access to the floor. I'm going to, so I'm in table. I'm going to step my right foot forward and scooch it over. And Emilee, we did this in class last night, so you're going to remember this. Now, for those of you who have sore knees, and my knees will get sore sometimes, I'm going to toss a towel under my back knee. I've heel-toed my front foot forward, and if it feels okay on my ankle, I'm going to roll it out a bit. Now here, I can just stay here and stretch. I could come down to my elbows. And again, this is the one where you've seen pictures, probably people coming all the way down to the floor, right? And that's okay. And if that's what your body wants to do, that is okay and great, right? And then my body wants to do this, and this is okay and great. So here, I'm going to be shorter. You can pause the video and stay longer. Like you can stay a long time right there. Just pause and turn this back on when you're ready. So the next thing I'm going to do is place my left hand on the floor for stability. I'm going to move my block. I'm catching my back leg. Oh, and doing this last night was a lot easier in the afternoon than first thing in the morning. I'm still at the stage of running the half where it's hard to walk down the stairs. Ah. So now I feel through my quadriceps. I'm feeling through my hip flexor, and I'm just breathing. I'm just being with what's here. So we're not going to self-abandon or we're like, I'm out. This is uncomfortable. I'm leaving. We just stay and breathe. And again, watching for any sharp pain. We don't want sharp pain, especially in the knee, the hips. So if anything feels sharp, just ease out. Or you can take the strap and put it around your ankle and give yourself a little more space. Ah. And then coming out here. And then I'm taking this right back to a runner stretch. I don't want to collapse on my sit bones onto the back leg. It's a lot like our forward fold before. I want to reach my heart to my toes, sit bones back. Ooh, that is nice. And if you're really lucky, your cat will come and help you. Hi, Hobbsy. Yeah. And then you'll, again, this one, stay for 5 nice breaths. And then we'll move to the other side. So I'm bringing both my hands forward for stability. As I take my leg back. I could even move my towel over because I know where I'm headed. And then move Hobbsy and take my other foot forward. Rolling out to the ankle if that feels okay. And I'm going to come back to my block. And it's nice to spend a little time here so your hips know where we're headed. I always remind myself over and over that the body doesn't use words. It uses really breath to communicate, breath, and then being with your body. So how my body knows that I love it, right? That I'm here to take care of it, that I'm on my body's side, is through the way that I move, the way that I nurture it with food and nutrition and water and movement and breath. This is how my body knows that I'm here and that I love it, that I'm not going to leave it, no matter how old it gets. That is one thing that I hope that by doing these yoga classes online, that I, over the years, maybe I can kind of demonstrate the, I don't know, courage sometimes it takes to stay in love with your body as it ages. Even though all the messages in the media, now I'm going, ah, this side is way tighter for me. Woo. It's okay to make expressive noises. Just breathing. Your breath will really tell you too if you need to ease out. Like if you can't breathe or your breath gets really irregular and jagged, that means that you're really not in a ventral or connecting state anymore. And that you need to move out. Something softer. Ah, good. And then I'm taking this back into the runner's stretch. Whoa. I'm so expressive this morning. And then 5 breaths here. Again, the heart to the toe. And I'm noticing here I'm kind of out of alignment. So I'm just lining myself back up. And you do it in a loving, kind way. Hey, buddy, you're out of alignment. How about we do this? Yeah. Here we go. And then once you're feeling even, coming back to our table. And then here, you can just cat and cow for a moment to synchronize breath and movement, right? Just letting the body move again. So these postures are kind of still, taking any kind of counter poses. And then one last stretch. I mean, there are so many more, but we're working to keep this short enough that it's accessible. So this is probably my favorite one. So I'm really stretched out here. And this gives me access to take my ankle to my knee. My right leg is staying active, and then the left leg scooches in. And I'm really just scooching. Now, what I want to do is work towards straightening through the low back, the lumbar spine. So, sit bones down, heart up, as I bring the palms of my hands in toward my sit bones. Whoa. Yeah. And just breathe with what's here. I'm noticing that's pretty intense actually for me, this deep in. So I'm going to take it a little bit out. So attunement with the body like that, attunement where you you meet your body's fundamental needs. Like I see you, body. I'm noticing. And then I hear you, like I'm listening. And I noticed, right, the intensity of that. And then I really listened. And what my body was saying was, that's a bit too much. And so I listened. And then connection, I responded, I attuned. I responded to what I noticed and heard. So these are fundamental needs: to be seen, to be heard, and to connect. And so right there, and just that little responsiveness to my own body, I met three fundamental needs for myself in a post-run stretch. Imagine that. So sometimes when we're running, right, we might do the breathe in and out as we run, breathe in through the nose, out to the mouth. You might mouth breathe the whole time. When we transition to the yoga, it might, if you can, if your nose isn't too stuffy or anything, transitioning to ujjayi breathing, which is very soothing. And then I'm coming out. First, take the hands, then the foot, then the foot, then the foot, then the heel. So I'm switching sides. Yeah. And you can see how tight my hips are because I'm really rounding right now. And that's okay. I'm just noticing again. I can notice so that then I can take care of myself. We can't take care of anything we don't notice, right? So noticing without judgment, just noticing with a discernment, a listening ear. That's not going to make anything good or bad. It's just going to give us information so we can make a decision. And so this side I'm noticing is a lot less tight. And that makes sense. I have an old injury on the right hip from, gosh, 10 years ago. And it's healed, but it especially after something like a half marathon, it's going to kind of speak to me. It's going to say, be careful, Catherine. Remember what happened before. So our scars are little voices from the past saying, like, just be careful. Just be careful. Remember what happened in 2013. Well, so 11 years. Yay. And I'm rocking this side a little bit. So this is an opportunity to be very nurturing with a body that just worked hard for you in a run. So working hard not to rush through. And then staying in that side longer if you'd like. Good. There. And then one more pose. Ooh, this isn't it, but so now I'm just gonna run down the IT bands with the heels of my hands. Ah, right down there. Run down the quads, couple different, kind of go outside, on top, outside. Whoa, this feels really good. Ah, nice. And then I'm coming open, tilting the pelvis. I just kind of lifted so I could tilt. All right, bringing the right knee in. I mean, the left, your right, my left. So I'm not sure how far this one will go either. And I could also use the strap around my foot here. I think I can reach with my hand. Okay, my thumb is pointing down. And then I'm taking this hand up and over. Whoa. So some people can get their hand, this hand, all the way to the outside of their foot. Most people cannot. And it gives us a directionality. Reach your top hand toward the outside of your extended leg, right? This gives my posture some directionality, but it also isn't like, and if you don't get there, you're not good enough, right? That part isn't part of it. Again, staying here as long as you like. So this hand's going to come down, swish around, land behind me. This hand is released. This is coming up, and then into an opening. This is like the opposite of running pose. And then back down around. And then switch sides. This will be our last posture, our last stretch. Same leg, same hand, thumb down. And remember, this is my tight hip, so I'm just going to be very careful. Whoa. So good to stretch it. So stretching, we know from animal and human studies, helps activate the healing response. So I really want to stretch. I don't want to stretch so that I'm doing damage. I want to stretch to really activate, bring circulation to the area, engage, and breath. Stacking my lungs. For like 5 breaths. And then this hand's going to come around, plant behind me. This hand, whoosh, up into a big open-hearted stretch, pressing my leg, my foot into the ground, and then back. Yay. Okay. And then because it feels nice to sit on a block, I shall sit on a block, and that gives me a little more space on my hips to sit in this final posture. So again, I want to have gratitude for this beautiful body that lets me run. I want to have gratitude for this beautiful heart that beats the whole time I run and these lungs that breathe the whole time I run. And I have very much gratitude for the self-caring part of me that takes the time to do things like run and yoga for my body so that it can do the amazing things that it does in the world. And for students like Emilee studying really hard to be doctors to help take care of others, gosh, what beautiful work that your body is doing. Om Shanti Shanti Om. Peace.